I'm early. Now, the reason why I'm a bit early this morning is I've just read Rob Hickey's comment, and it says, "Oh, if Andy does not show, is the future cancelled?" So I thought I'd better get straight online and let you know that the future isn't cancelled. We are all good, and I'm surrounded by box. Oh, hang on. Jeez, so useless. There we go. Look. So yeah, I'm surrounded by boxes. Quite a few deliveries this week. Because, again, essentially, I'm treating this like a lockdown situation. Auckland is still in level 3, and we're in level 2 down in Taupo, basically where I am. Not quite in Taupo, I'm out in the sticks, but So I just sat here answering some of the comments, as I always do before I start. And it's been a very busy week, and I've got the current update on the shelving, on the racking modification that I've been on with in between doing work jobs and stuff. So Bob Kinney, that 750 is coming along. It is, slowly but surely. I'm currently in the process of ordering, spoiler alert for you guys, an electronic ignition pickup, basically, and I am going to go for a new set of ignition coils. And the reason for that is because of the condition of the HT leads. Those coils are also very old, and if you've watched the most recent video, you'll see that the secondary winding is a little bit out of spec as well. So a little bit concerned about the insulation on the secondary windings, but the main reason is that the HT leads they're right on the limit of being too short, and I don't just want to use extenders, and they're quite floppy as they come out of the actual coil pack themselves. So I've indicated to me that the copper inside is basically broken up. So I just want to replace them, put new ones on. But I'm currently trying to find some really good quality aftermarket coils. I'll get there. I'm right on the cusp of placing the order, but I'm trying to get a bit of a discount as well, because it's not going to be a cheap restoration for Alan. It's not really a restoration, is it? It's just a get up and running thing, but you know what I mean. May need some TLC on the rings if you get the go-ahead. Possibly. As you saw on, if you were here for last Sunday's live stream, and I haven't done another video yet on the 750. I've been way too busy with work at the moment and doing the racking over there. So we'll go have a look a bit later on. Yeah, possibly. But only number 2 cylinder is the one that's really down a bit. Now then, Jim K, good morning, Jim. Hope you're all good there, Jim. What's keeping Andy? Well, I'm here now. Maybe a last minute honeydew. Honeydew what? List. List. Yeah, could be. Jim K, I see Forge boxes. Yes, you are correct. There is a Forge box. Jared's been really good and sent me some gear down. Don't quite know what's in the box. I've got an idea because we had a bit of a talk about it beforehand. Adrian Edhouse, good morning, Adrian. Hope you're all good. S&A Auto Repair, hello, my friend. Good morning. Hope you're all good out there. I'm okay here. It's not as cold as it has been the last few live streams, I must admit. So no jacket. It's all good. George. Good morning, Andy. Good morning, George. Good to have you on board, sir. We've got 25 people already, 25 viewers. Now then, Jim K, do you think the HT leads have been shortened? Well, they have. I mean, over time, whenever somebody takes a plug cap off and goes, let's just check the HT lead, they usually snip a little bit off, and they have got dangerously low. Dangerous is the wrong word, but they've got pretty short, to be honest, for number 1 and number 4 cylinders. So I'm just tempted just to do it once, do it right kind of thing, I want it to give it the best possible chance of having a good cold start. Off-road fan, morning Andy. It looks like some unboxing in this video. Yes, why not? I have a disclaimer to make. I got a delivery from Asmus here, and yes, this box is actually empty. But I put it there to remind me to include this in the live stream, because in here was some essential nuts and bolts that I needed. Yeah, look, there's Asmus. They're down in Taupo. Reese, is one of the lads that works there. He's the one that I deal with, and was extremely good on the pricing of the nuts and bolts. Yes, I do have to buy them. No, they don't sponsor the channel, not yet. Maybe one day, who knows? But they were really, really good to me on the pricing. But some of those bolts that were in the package I needed in order to be able to progress with the racking, and I had to get on with it because I've got quite a small window which is quickly closing up. So anyway, thanks very much to Asmus for their support. I do appreciate that. We'll get rid of that box. Don't need that one anymore. There is some more from them actually, which I'll cover when I start unboxing the boxes. But Reese down there is going to be, no, is it Reese? God, I forget. Hang on. Pretty sure it's Reese. Hang on, I'll have to check my emails. I am useless, honestly. It's a bit too early for me. I didn't get it. Oh, you're updating your terms and conditions. Don't need to know that. Dum. Bear with me. So useless. It can't be too far down. Just bear with me, people. Yes, it is Reese. It's spelled R-H-Y-S, and I had in my head for some reason R-E-E-C-E. Confusing. But Reese was really good on the pricing, and he is going to be leaving Asmus in the next few days, and he's going down to Wellington to train as an electrician, a domestic household electrician. So I wished him farewell on his big journey, and maybe one day when I'm down in Wellington, we'll meet up and have a pint, and I'll be able to catch up, and maybe we'll do a live stream or something, and you can find out how he's getting on with his new chosen career. Who knows? Jesus, all sorts going on. Now, where were we? Frederick. Good morning, Frederick. Awesome to see you restoring the CB750. Yes, I'm really enjoying doing that, but it's a step-by-step project. I've restored mine at 77K7 last year. Those bikes are worth so much, are so worth it. Keep up the good work. Regards from Holland. Well, thanks, Frederick. Like I say, I am enjoying doing it's not really a restoration. There's a few faults on it that I've got to fix. And the big one is getting it through compliance. That's going to have to happen up in Auckland. Now, I was talking about, I do jump around, sorry, about next week. Now, the time frame for getting this racking done is getting tighter and tighter by the minute. On Thursday, I am planning, hopefully, I have to go up to Auckland and collect some more ROVs, and I've got to make a start on doing the undersealing for the surf clubs. Now, there's going to be, obviously, every year we do a batch of these vehicles, but there's going to be quite a few this year. The success of the underseal has been my downfall, unfortunately. There's now a much larger order in the pipeline, and it's going to be an awful lot of work and a lot of driving, to be honest, as well, bringing the vehicles down here to do. But it has to be done, and we've got a deadline, and it looks like it's all going to kick off on Thursday. So next weekend, I'm going to be undersealing. I hate undersealing. It's a horrible job. It's, you get covered in black tarry bitumen stuff, but it is worth it because, well, it prevents the corrosion, and it absolutely works. I would show you a can of the underseal, but it's all packed in boxes at the moment because some of the racking is empty. Anyway, Killswitch BB, hello. Good morning, Killswitch BB. Great to have you on board, mate. Shawnee guy, man. First time here, looks cold. It's not that cold. It's a little bit cold. I should sit upright. Oh, yeah, aches and pains are getting a lot worse, actually. My poor old elbow has now stretched up to the shoulder, and I've now got a bad elbow and a right shoulder. And I think I pulled a muscle in my back yesterday, moving some of the racking around. But hey, I'm just getting old. You've got to work through it, haven't you, being a mechanic? Jim K, all those different plug caps. Yes, there's lots of different plug caps. I went onto the NGK website to find out the relevant part numbers. I do believe that the plug caps I know for sure that some of the plug caps are incorrect for that bike. Just not through the ohm rating. There should be a 5k ohm rating, but just the cylinders 1 and cylinder 4, I don't believe have the correct shaped plug caps on either, partly because they're both different. So I've got to look into, well, I have looked into that, and everything's ordered as regards plug caps. They're coming from Derby Accessories up in Auckland. A good friend of mine, Ian, is sorting those out for me. Jim K, yes, sorry. MG, morning, Andy. Good morning, MG. Good to have you on board. George, could you give some insights on sourcing the replacement coils? Yes, I will do. I'll do that on the next video that I do. I'll cover that using the laptop, and we'll go onto a couple of websites and look at the ones that I've been inspecting. It's very difficult these days to know where things are made, and I am trying very hard to avoid things out of China, to be honest. I want to replace these coils with something that's going to be of really good quality. Unfortunately, I've experienced in the past people taking OE parts off a car that's say 3, 4, 5 years old, certainly on the old ignition points vehicles like the old Suzukis and stuff, taking off the genuine plug caps and dizzy cap and rotor arms and stuff, and putting new but much inferior quality products onto vehicles, when in fact you could have just left the original ones on and it would have performed much better. So there is that issue. Those coils at the moment aren't too far out of spec on the secondary, but hey, they do need to be replaced. But I need to replace them with with something that's equivalent to genuine, and as I believe you can't get genuine anymore. That's the problem. Otherwise we would do. Jim K, do you have to do a CO test as part of the certification process? No, we don't. Basically, new vehicles that come into New Zealand have to meet on emissions, certain Euro standard, whether it's Euro 6 or whatever, I don't know. Should do really, but on the older stuff, not really. No, I mean that bike, they can't. It wouldn't be fair to ask a bike of that age to meet current standards. It was never designed to do that, so they can't do that. Once the bike enters the market, so once it is registered for the road and then it starts to go for warrant of fitness, the only emissions check that occurs during warrant of fitness is a visible smoke check, and you basically hold the engine at about half revs. So in this case, probably about 3,500, 4,000 RPM from memory. And for about 10 seconds, and you just watch what comes out of the exhaust pipe. And if it's all smoky and not nice, then it's a fail, and if it's reasonably clean, then it's a pass. And that really is the test. Very basic, and the same thing applies to cars. It's crazy, isn't it? Very different to the UK. Now then, kill switch, cure for aches and pains, Tool Girl massage, lol. Yes, well, actually, Mrs. Mechanic did do that last night, and it has helped a little bit. I think that and the sleep. It did take me a while to get to sleep, though, to be fair, so I didn't get a lot of kip last night. But yes, I agree, but Mrs. Mechanic would probably not be over happy, to be fair. Understandable. Anyway. Cameron Waltets. Cameron Waltets. What are you going to do? When are you going to do another Ford Fix It video? Well, the only Ford we've got on the fleet at the moment is Ben's Ute, which is a Ford Courier, and it's got it's an old one. I think it's a 2.2 petrol. It's got points ignition. He has recently replaced the points, and he was calling me up asking for some help on how to do it. We got him through it over the phone, and he's been driving the vehicle around just fine. But he hasn't got a timing light, and he didn't know what the points gap was, and neither did I, to be fair. So we used the old thumbnail trick, and it seems to be going quite well. He says it goes better than it used to do, which is good news. But he's going to be coming down again once restrictions have lifted. He does plan a trip down to the workshop, and then we'll be going through it and setting up the ignition correctly for him. And I've still got to find it. So if anybody knows, it's a, what is it, it's about 1992 Ford Courier 2.2 petrol with points. I need to know the points gap. Can't find it anywhere. He has the original owner's manual for the vehicle, and we can't even find it in that, so a bit weird. Anyway, we'll work it out. Now then, Roger, good morning, Andy. Good morning, Roger. Good to have you on board, sir. Solid Diagnostics. Hi, Andy. Good morning, Solid Diagnostics, and cheers. Bob Kinney, possibly a cross-reference for coil replacement. No more OEM, but you can find a suitable replacement. We'll find something for sure. But that's going to it's got to happen next week because, of course, part supply is horrifically slow at the moment, and it is definitely going to hold up the project. But I can get on with some other jobs while those parts are on the way in and keep the videos flowing. Cameron, morning from sunny QLD. Where the hell's that? QLD? Queensland? Could be. Jim K, I looked into a new thermos mug on Zazzle. Like this one, look. There you go, Jim. We've got the gorgeous Tool Girl Holly on this one. Isn't she nice? She does a great job. Can't get the classic logo on it like I would like. Can you help? Maybe a setting? Can't get the classic logo. Really? Hang on. I think you can. Let's just go onto Zazzle. Let's have a look. Let's try that. See if that's going to work. I'm gonna turn you round, and we're going to do this together to see, just to help Jim out, because he's a good guy. Just look at that. Needs to have a shave. Right. Hang on. Okay, so just trying to get the camera sorted out. Sorry about the glare. Right, Jim, let's give this a go. So if we click onto the standard mug, sorry guys, but this is interesting stuff for Jim. There should be different styles of mugs. Yes, click on there, look. And we're going to choose the thermos. There, look, that's the one. And then I'm going to go for the white one like I did with Holly. There you go. So you should be able to get the standard Andy Mechanic graphics on the thermos mug. And I know we have sold a fair few of these already. So it should be as easy as that, to be honest. There you go. Pretty cool, eh? Right, bringing the camera back. And of course, Jim, you just click add to cart. There you go. Okay. Oh, got to sort the camera out again now. Jeez. Not going to work. That's going to work. It's even better than it was before. So, Jim, is that going to help? Is that what you tried to do, or did you go about it a different way? I don't know. You'll have to let me know, because, you know, I do like viewers to be able to get the stuff that they want in the style that they want it. Alan. Hi, Andy. Jim K. So when I looked on my phone, it wasn't showing. Really? I didn't log into Zazzle, so it doesn't know that I'm in my account, I don't think. No. Send me some screenshots, Jim. Or try it on a laptop. That might work. I don't know. I don't know what the problem is. If anybody else is out there, if you can drop onto Zazzle and see if you can do the same thing that I just did. And if you can't, let me know, because I might have to get a hold of them and find out what's going on. Okay, right. Back to the live stream. Here we go. Thomas, morning. Thomas Nielsen. There we are. Look, Nielsen. Morning. Good morning, Thomas. Gee, I've got a hell of a glare on there now. Oh, that's better. Mike Adams. Hello, Andy. Hi, all. Listening in whilst I mow the yards. I haven't mowed my yard for years. Al Elish. Hi, Andy, from sunny Canada, Canada, New York. I'm sure you make these names up, honestly. Alan Cook, how's Lily? Lily's okay, actually. I haven't seen Lily for ages. We obviously couldn't meet up during the first lockdown 1.0 here in New Zealand. And then during those 2 months when there wasn't a lockdown and there was basically free travel and we're all doing what we normally do, I was up in Auckland, I think 3 different times, 3 different occasions. And on each occasion, Lily bailed on me. Most annoyed, but she's a very busy lass, has lots of other stuff going on, and I am very confident we'll be catching up at some point in the future. We get on really well together, actually, me and Lily. She's a good lass. Thomas Nielsen, here in Denmark, is the clock 10:41 p.m. So good night. Oh, okay, Thomas. Well, good night. No problem. Enjoy your sleep and get plenty of it. I didn't get to sleep till about 1 this morning, unfortunately. Jim K, I will use my laptop. All right, Jim, keep me posted. Jim K, lockdown 1.0. Yeah, well, there seems to, I have a sneaky suspicion we're going to have a few of these repeat occurrences here in New Zealand. Now, they have promised us on Monday, Jacinda and her team, posse, are going to review the current restrictions here in New Zealand to see if they're going to reduce Auckland down from 3 to 2. But it really depends on how the cases are going. We've got community transfer, unfortunately, back in here amongst the public here in New Zealand, and it's sort of clustered around the Auckland area. So Auckland is really a no-go zone at the moment. And they've made it the super city Auckland area. I'm not that familiar with it, but I looked on a map, and essentially it cuts the North Island clean in half. Because you can't go through Auckland, you can't get up north either. And of course, the Northernites can't get to the southern area either. So obviously, freight's still getting through. The truck drivers are not getting out the cabs or anything like that, but it is a huge problem. It's definitely restricting travel big time, and I think that was probably one of their aims of putting Auckland in level 3. It would also stop the migration of people and the long distance travel around the North Island. Kill switch. So if I buy a mug and get it entered into the draw, is that my prize behind you? Well, no, it's not your prize behind you. It isn't. That's some stuff that I'm going to need for the workshop. Besides, your prize is probably going to be a lot bigger than that anyway. Whoever wins. But I'm really looking forward to doing that draw in December. It should be cool. I'm gonna get a Tool Girl down for the draw as well. That'll definitely happen for sure. Plenty of time to organise it. Jim K, you guys were doing so good. It has me worried about us in the USA. New Zealand was doing it ever so well, and then they reopened the borders and started to allow people to come back into New Zealand that had either residency or citizenship, which legally they can't stop. But I think they were a little bit too trustworthy on these individuals coming back, and there was an awful lot of sort of self-isolation going on. And then they made it so they clamped down on that and started using hotels and stuff. And people just started bloody escaping and going shopping. And we had people breaking into isolation hotels or accommodation places just to see their mates and then breaking back out again. I mean, what the hell is going on? What possesses somebody to do something like that? And, on that particular case, the woman that broke in was found to be positive afterwards, and she'd spread the virus. I mean, those 14 days are there for a reason, people. It just winds me up. Most of us are doing what we can to try and prevent the spread, and it just takes a small minority that basically don't give a shit. They just do whatever they want. It's just a nightmare. Alan Cook, I've been speaking to Holly lately. Really? Good man. Oh, I hope she's fine. I haven't spoken to Holly for about, message Holly about a week ago, I would say it was. I try and keep in contact with her, see how she's getting on. And as soon as her wrist is sorted, and of course she's in Auckland, so she can't come down to the workshop at the moment. But as soon as things are back to normal, she's very keen to come back to the workshop and do another day's filming, or 2 days filming. And also, we're going to do a pub live stream. She's real keen for that, so that'd be cool. Let's get her in a Tool Girl gear and get her down to the pub. Be awesome. Now then, Nima Nadrelli. Hi, Andy. Buy the book. I've read this. You sent me on a messenger, I think, on a comment on a video. Buy the book. I use 10W40 oil in my car's engine, but there is a chart indicating that according to the weather temperature, If the climate is over 10 degrees, you can use thicker oil like 20W50. Well, I would suggest that provided that oil viscosity chart is in your owner's manual, which it is on plenty of vehicles, to be honest, and they say that you can use 20W50, then you can. No problem. Go for it. Bob Kinney, not everyone getting COVID is coming down sick. Correct. And I said this so many times during the first lockdown. I read from more than one source that you can catch this virus and show no symptoms at all, ever. You just become like a carrier for it, which means that you can spread it unbeknown. And, you know, it's a bad thing. So if you don't show symptoms, you're tempted not to go and get tested. So if you don't get tested, you're just going to keep spreading it, aren't you? It is a real problem. Now, I'm not saying that the majority of people are like that. I don't think that they are. I think it's a very much a minority group within those affected or infected. But you know, it is a significant problem, and we had the government's still trying to work out how this second round of cases in the community originated. How did that particular strain of the virus actually make it into New Zealand? And there was a number of different hypotheses. One of them was that there was a cold storage company, Americold, I think it's called, in Australia, and they've got another depot here in Auckland, and they were doing testing to see if it had migrated through those with the product, basically. But it looks like that isn't the case. They've done lots of, I don't know what all the terminology is, but they've done lots of testing, and they seem pretty confident that hadn't happened. Because can you imagine that if this virus could start to spread through the transfer of goods? You know, I'm sat here next to a lot of boxes of product that I'm going to be opening up very shortly, and you know, it could be in there, and that really turns things on their head. You know, no longer am I just concerned with people and surfaces of places if I go anywhere, which I don't really go anywhere at the moment, but now, you know, post and products and stuff through the postage system, through freight. That really would cause a massive problem. Alan Cook, she is okay. Excellent. Tool Girl Holly is doing just fine. That's good to know. Daz, 323323. Catch up for a pint next time you're in Christchurch. Most definitely. We will do that. I don't know how long it's going to be before I get back down to Christchurch, though. But if you flick me an email through with your mobile number, I'll put it in my phone, and I'll make sure I've got it in my phone, and I can flick you a text and let you know when I'm down in Christchurch. How's that? Muller Volker, it's 10:46 here in the evening. Jim K, did they find out if it was the meat? Well, that's what I was saying, Jim. They have done some tests, and they don't think it was spread via the product. It wasn't so much the meat itself. I think they were more concerned about the actual packaging. There's quite a few layers of packaging that goes on, and they were thinking it was possibly on the surface of the outer layer, but they can't find anything. Basically, they don't know. Killswitch BB, COVID is nothing. I've been in lockdown for years. It's called marriage law. I am declining to comment, people. And the reason why I don't comment is I know for sure that there's a really high chance Mrs. Mechanic is going to be watching this, probably right now, actually. And I do value my bacon butties, so, you know, got to be nice. Nima, the chart about the oil was from a motorcycle service manual, not the car. Now what? Well, my suggestion to you is get the car manual. Whether it's the owner's manual, you can normally just download off the net pretty freely, and it should be in that. Other than that, you can try and dig out the service manual for it. But I would personally go to the manufacturer's recommendations. What they say is gospel. Jim K, are kids going to school in New Zealand? Not in Auckland, unless the parents or one of the parents is an essential worker. That's what I believe we're at the moment. Other than that, any other child in Auckland is stay home. But outside the super city area of Auckland, which stretches all the way up to Wellsford in the north, and I think it's down as far as Pukekohe in the south, but I'm not entirely sure where the border is on the south, on the southern edge. But once you're outside that area, you're in level 2 and the kids are going to school. I mean, I can hear them from here. There's a little school just around the corner, about half a mile away. And you can hear them laughing and joking during their play times, which is quite nice. It reminds me of my little kids playing in the yard at the farm. So where are we at? Right, I've run out of comments, I think, because I've managed to keep up, which means it auto scrolls, which is far superior. Okay, so first of all, let's go and do a little tour of the workshop and show you, oh golly, and show you what I've been making. Here we go. Oh, right. Okay, quick panoramic view. I've been told to do this slowly because it doesn't come across on the live stream very well. There we go, look. Right. So, you may notice, I'll just do a stand over here a little bit, look. You may notice that things are coming on. Now, the racking, that bit, and the cupboard, that one, are really just hanging in there at the moment. They're not bolted into place, although I have already started putting stuff in them because there's no room for stuff. But this is what we've come up with. We've got some 50 by 75 angle, which is about 5mm thick, up on the water, basically clamping all the timber beams because the timber is crap. It goes up to there. Now you might wonder what those lugs there are for. Well, there's going to be a bar that goes across onto there, basically, just to give the whole thing some more rigidity, because there's going to be a hell of a lot of weight on this racking when it's all finished. So there was another adaptation, and you can see here, look, this is one of the brackets. There are like speed holes, nice. This is one of the brackets, and I had to use countersink because obviously, you know, it needs to be flush. But this is a really strange design. You may think, what the hell's going on here, Andy? Well, the fact is, if there's any sag due to the excessive weight, and there's going to be a hell of a lot of weight on here, on each of these brackets. There's 11 of these brackets in total along the length of the workshop. And I reckon each bracket's going to be carrying about 150 kgs maximum. Well, this is a little adjuster where I can actually trim the bracket to get it level again. Pretty cool, eh? It's got a captive nut at the back and everything. But you'll see more of that in one of the ones we haven't yet painted. Now, coming along this way, if we work on here, there's going to be some little plates off the front here that will bolt through onto the racking at each end, and that'll just make sure that it stays put. And of course, there is a rail at the back to bolt the racking to, just up there, look. So again, it's all pretty well fixed into place. The good news is I bought some more shelves so we can actually make use of the available space properly. There's one there, look, and there's some more over on the trolley. So a quick overview from this side. Sorry it's a bit dark, chaps, but there you go. Is it going to focus? Yes, it is there, look. So you can see in more detail one of the brackets now, and again it's got the countersunk. It's got a countersunk M8 stainless down here. Hang on, can I turn the torch on? I can't really. Let's go and get Torchy. Hang on. Where's Torchy? So useful is Torchy. Right. There you go. How's that? So you can see again, look. Sorry about the fag packet bit, but it's just to be there to protect the paint until it's all finished. So we got all this done yesterday and fixed. If we go underneath, oh, you'll get a better view down here, look. There you go. How's that? Bit of panning camera work going on. So, oh, you can get right up the top there, look. I think it's looking pretty damn good, actually. Very happy with it. And I think it's definitely substantial enough. I think it's going to work. Right. Back to the bench, people. Get rid of Torchy. Don't need that anymore. And turn the camera around. And then plug the camera in. Hang on. Just bear with me a second, people. Don't want the phone going flat. There we go. That works, doesn't it? Okay, so following on from that then, I have one of the brackets, and there's still quite a few here to clean up and paint, but you've got there, look, it's just made out of some C-channel with a little bit cut out, and then this bottom piece bent up into place and welded. Mrs. Mechanic did a lot of cleaning up yesterday. It still needs to be flap disc and everything, and you can see just there the two captive bolts that are welded into place, and everything's countersunk and ready to go. So these aren't too far off, but we'll get there. Right. Okay, you want to open some boxes, don't you? I can tell. I can see how eager you are. Let's just go back to the comments first and get those caught up. Machine NZ, morning Andy from New Plymouth. Good morning, Machine NZ. Cheers. Oh, I had a cigarette somewhere. I'll just finish my cigarette. Hang on. Kill switch BB, Mrs. Mechanic. No matter what, you got a good lass there. I have. And you know what? We got together when she was 15 years old. We've been together ever since. It's pretty incredible, really. Make the bacon butties doubles. I'll tell you a little story, actually, really quickly. When I used to work at my dad's garage on a Saturday morning, because I was still at school, I was at Bootham School in York, a Quaker school, believe it or not. I wasn't a Quaker, but it was a Quaker school. It was a very cool school, actually. We did lots of good stuff. And just on Gillygate, we had a dealership called Norman Anchors York Limited. Now, that was Norman Anchors was my great-grandfather, and he started the business in 1907. So I enjoyed working there. It was a very old building, lots of quirky places to go and, explore as a kid, up in the loft and stuff in the rafters. There was lots of old car parts and stuff up there. And just over the road was a little cafe. And that little cafe did bacon butties and sausage butties, takeaway. And, being a Yorkshireman, I had to go, and Dad used to send me across anyway and go and buy a round of sandwiches for everybody. And there was Mrs. Mechanic making the sandwiches. Now, that's not how I met her, but it definitely helped to reinforce the fact that she knows how to make bacon butties. Yeah, she's a keeper. No, I actually met her playing crazy golf, believe it or not, at my godfather's house, Uncle Ted. Nice chap, passed away now. Really miss Uncle Ted. He would have been a great guy to have given me a hand doing this old Honda. Although he really liked his old BSAs and Nortons, to be honest. But he, from a very young age, he used to drag me into his workshop, and we used to tinker around on his old bikes. It was great fun. Real nice guy. Daz, cheers, mate. Will do. Cheers, Daz. Jim K, that storage looks great. Like I said before, do it once, do it right. It's taken me, there's only a limited amount of space in this workshop, and you've got to make use of what you've got. And I just wanted to do, I had it planned for a long time, and I wanted to do a system which was going to work permanently and not need to be changed. Although the way I've sort of designed it is semi-modular, which means that I can actually, so for example, take the cupboard out and I could fit some more racking up there if need be, or vice versa. It's not where the actual brackets come off the C-channel. It doesn't have to be specific to where the mounts are for the actual cupboards or racking that's mounted on it, because there's that rail at the back and the rail at the front. They actually are the mounting points, so it's easy to modify. And also with those uprights, you might have noticed, and I think I mentioned it in last week's live stream, some of those timber uprights are not vertical. Whoever made this garage didn't have a spirit level, that's for sure. And they're all over the place. But there's no way I wanted to start pulling the timbers out and trying to straighten them all up. It didn't really matter. The angle iron on either side of the timber that's clamping it, it can be at any angle. It's irrelevant. It's not a requirement that they're vertical. So it made it quite simple to install. And it maybe looks a bit odd, but you don't see them anyway when there's stuff on the shelving. So it sort of works for me. Smallville. Your motorcycle coil video was very helpful, waiting for new ones. Yes, and I've got a video, I think I've been trying to plan a video for a long time on ignition points and the disadvantages of ignition points, the old point system, and why the industry moved across to electronic ignition, through CDI and that kind of stuff, to finally ECU controlling the ignition system. I need to make a jig which will spin up a distributor, which I've got off an old Subaru, I think it is, Subaru 3-cylinder, to spin up the dizzy fast enough to create points bounce, which we're going to capture on the scope. None of my electric drills will have a high enough RPM to be able to do it. I've tried all of them. So I need to come up with some kind of a rig, basically, which has got a motor on it and a couple of pulleys and a belt, so I can actually spin the whole thing up fast enough to create that scenario. Because it'll be a really good video when it's done. A lot of people don't know a lot about points ignition anymore, and hopefully it's something which is going to be there for the future for anyone doing up an old bike and understanding why points ignition is on there, or why the manufacturer used it. Jim K, I like the speed holes in the brackets. Me too. I like speed holes, and they don't take long to do. And I did get a brand new. No, I won't get it out because it's buried at the back of the shelving. It's up there somewhere in one of those shelf units. I bought a brand new hole saw set from ISL Industrial during the last lockdown. That's when I planned to do this racking, and mightily impressed. I was watching a video from Project Farm recently covering various hole saws. I don't think the brand that I bought was covered on it, but mine performed extremely well. Very impressed. Now then, MG, it's looking good. You're a talented man. Well, I do my best. Steve S. Hey, Andy, from Boston, Massachusetts, USA. Good day, man. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, Steve. Good to have you on board. Machine NZ, how come you're making the shelving? Why not buy some second-hand racking? Well, okay. I got given a load of racking from Teng Tools, as you know, the big red stuff that you've seen in the video just now. And so I didn't need to buy any. But what I'm making is the bit that really is bespoke, on the building to support that. And the original Teng racking goes all the way to the ground. I didn't want that. I've had that for a few years now. My plan is, and as you can see, is to lift the racking and to basically turn it into shelving, so to speak, or wall-mounted racking, call it what you like, so I can get my roll cabs underneath. So all the roll cabs can be stored underneath the shelving, same depth. And then if I need more floor space, I can just roll the roll cabs out of the way, and I've got a wider workshop, for trailers and stuff when I'm welding up trailers and things. Because we get some pretty big boat trailers over here, and they have a very long A-frame at the front, which is, it causes a problem trying to get the whole thing in the garage. Also, one thing I've not mentioned is underneath the shelving, there's a 150mm gap before the top of the roll cabs. That's done for a reason. There's going to be some more brackets to go on, which I haven't yet made, which are like a U-shape. And they will clamp on the underside of the C-channel that's on the wall and the underside of the angle iron that's furthest out. And that is going to carry my steel stock, because I can buy steel stock in 6-meter lengths now that I've got the big trailer, much cheaper. It cuts down on the cutting fees to cut the steel down, but also it's cheaper in itself to buy it in 6-meter lengths. So I can just unload it off the trailer and slide it straight onto the racking. How's that for an idea? Pretty cool, eh? But if I didn't do it on this side of the workshop now, I wouldn't have anywhere for my 6-meter lengths. And previously they've had to be put down on the floor, down the middle of the workshop, and that I'm forever tripping over them, to be honest. It's just a nightmare. And trying to film around them, it just doesn't work. So I have to end up cutting them down and sort of guessing what sizes I'm going to need. And it just becomes a compromise. So yes, there's going to be a lot of weight on that racking. Oh, hang on. Steve, 37 watching, 18 likes. Come on, people. There you go, Steve. I like people like that. Bob Kinney, too busy chatting. Sorry, Bob. Always talking. Machine NZ, gotta go. Catching up on Skype with parents in the UK. Yes, I'm a POM also, lol. Well, Machine NZ, it's been good to have you on board. Enjoy your conversation with your parents. Say hi from me, and I hope they're okay back in the UK. They've got things much worse than we have here in New Zealand, that's for sure. Now then, golly gosh. Killswitch BB, maybe the guy who built the garage did have a spirit level. It's just that he had lazy eyes. No, I don't think he had a spirit level. Honestly, this garage is all over. I think the guy that set the concrete for the initial wall, bang on, good bloke. The guy that did the timber work, no, definitely not. Mike Adams, you said Mrs. Mechanic was 15 when you met her. Is she 16 or 21 again now? Lol. She's a good lass, is what I will say. She does a great job, and she's always in the workshop giving me a hand. Sometimes I've got to coax her out of the craft room because she does a lot of crafting and stuff at home. But once I get her outside, she's very productive and very capable on the tools. I'll give her that. Always there with the angle grinder, cleaning things up, and she does what we call tappy taps. So she gets rid of all the welding splatter. Not that there's that much at the moment. Now we've fixed the MIG, but when we're doing these big beams, especially that one there, actually. There was a lot of welding splatter, and it was caused because of a bad earth on the MIG. Bob Kinney, Project Farm rocks. He does some good testing. He does some very informative, very factual, straight to the point videos. Very different to mine. I tend to ramble on forever, as you guessed. And Nimador Jackson. Good evening, Nimador. I think it is Nimador. I don't know. I can't pronounce names. Sorry. Johnny Buckler. Good evening. Good morning, Andy from Durham in the UK. Good morning, Johnny, and good morning, Durham, back in fair England. Jim K. Did you work more on the ER1 issue? No, I didn't, Jim. I've just been too busy, to be honest, with work. It's currently out in the garden, getting rained on. There's no room in the workshop for it, that's for sure. I will be revisiting. I want to actually just pull the loom apart and do a visual inspection before I connect the new ECU and the new dash, just to be sure, because I can't let things leave my workshop that potentially still have a fault. And the last thing I want is for this next ECU to fail. But like I said before, I can't check the charging system actually operating. I can check the stator, the resistance values of the stator, and see if it's gone to ground. But that's really about all I can do until the new parts turn up, and then I'll set everything up, and we'll do a preliminary. We'll turn the ignition on, and we'll check that all the feeds and the grounds, the ECU is still good. Then we'll fire it up, and we'll be able to see instantly what the charging system is doing. So I'm going to be monitoring the inputs and outputs of that ECU during the initial start, and I'll be using my diagnostic tool for that. Nimador Jackson, my name is Jackson. Okay, right, Jackson. And I like auto mechanic work, and I'm a mechanic in is that Guana? Am I pronouncing that right? Guana? I always watch your YouTube videos. Well, thank you very much, Jackson. It's great to know that you enjoy the videos and that you find them helpful. Jackson, I hope to see you and work with you one day. Well, there you go. Well, I'm in New Zealand. I'm actually quite a long way from anywhere, really. But if you ever make it over this way, then hit me up and we'll go for a pint and have a chat. Killswitch BB, isn't it about time we all saw Mrs. M on the tools in the garage? She's very camera shy, Killswitch. I'm sorry. She has been in the odd video. I think the main video she's been in was when we did the luge somewhere. There's a video on us doing a luge day back in the early days when I used to put all sorts of stuff on the channel. Where's Mrs. Mechanic with that breakfast? She's probably still in bed, to be honest. Right, I think we need to organise some unboxing because it's been way too long, so no more cigarettes for now. Let's try and get the camera set up so you can see what's going on. And I have my knife. Now, I can't do the Eric Earl thing where it goes zing like that. I just can't do that because my knife doesn't do that. Okay, I'm going to step back a bit. I'm going to try and speak up so you can still hear me. Right, okay, let's start with the Forge one. Okay, Jared, if you're there, can you all hear me okay? I think you can. Right, let's give it a go. As you can see, I've not opened this in advance, so I have no idea what's... Oh, cut away from yourself, Mr. Young. There we go. Right. Jeez. What have we got? Well, packaging. Don't need that. Oh, yes. Right. Okay. We have got some more hand cleaner. Look at that. Bloody good. I'll show these all to camera individually. We'll get them out of the box first. We've got, what's this? Ooh, electrical contact spray. Excellent stuff. And we've got a little brushy thing there that goes on. Okay. Right, and some more gloves. I'm getting really low on gloves. I've actually not been wearing any gloves for the last few days. Oh. Right, let's get rid of the forge box. We've got some gloves. Oh, we've got some emergency slip discs because I've pretty much run out of those. I've been recycling the little ones, and I wasn't expecting this. Hang on a minute. Oh, right. I'm back. Bear with me. It's way too close. There we go. Look. Okay. Got a t-shirt. He sent me a t-shirt, and Jared is bound to be watching this because he knows I'm going to be unboxing his urgent supplies kit this morning. So let's see what we've got on the t-shirt. I love t-shirts. I've got way too many t-shirts, but you can't have too many, can you, really? What have we got? What does it say? I have no idea. May the forge be... Oh, brilliant. May the forge be with you. Fantastic. I like that. Oh, and he's done... This is the New Zealand specific. Look at that. Obviously a Star Wars fan. Cheers, Jared. I'm going to have to wear that in one of my next videos, aren't I? Brilliant job, mate. Appreciate that. And we've got some more slip discs because... Believe it or not, I hate waste. So whenever I'm doing a job and a slip disc gets down to about half worn and it's too small to do that particular job, it goes up on the rack. And then I use it up on a job that I don't need the cutting depth. And I've probably got about another 30 or 40 of these sort of half-size slip discs left to use up of various diameters. And yesterday, when I was cutting, in fact, was it Friday or yesterday? Cutting a load of steel, for these brackets, I was able to use up about 15 of those half discs, and I didn't use one full-size disc. So it just shows that if you're careful, you can get a lot more usage out of your cutting discs. To be honest, rather than just throw one away and put a new one on straight away, it's good to keep them. Anyway, thank you, Jared. Really, really appreciate that. These are critical to getting the rest of the racking finished. So I'll be using those very carefully and trying to make them last as long as possible. Right, so what else have we got? Oh, we've got this. Now, this is something I actually asked Jared for. I didn't have any before. And this is, in English, electronic switch and contact clean. Cleaning agent for electronic contacts and switches suitable for the manual removal of colophony-based flux. Wow, I've never heard of that before. Look at that. Pretty cool stuff. So we will be using that in future videos for sure. Thank you very much, Jared. Appreciate that. Put that over there. And yes, I pretty much drained the last tub of hand cleaner. So Jared has now sent me a new tub. I've already got a dispenser for this that he gave me. So I use this morning, noon and night basically to clean my hands. And it's really good gear. Very, very impressed with that. I need a bigger bench, that's for sure. Let's stick that over there. Right, okay. So we'll put those over that other side. Right, next box. Oh, should we do some? Oh, hang on. Well, what do we got here? Yay, unboxing time from Bob. Daz, if you had to start from scratch again, what tools would you buy first apart from sockets and spanners? Multimeter. A good one. Multimeter will be straight on there. And the tools to repair wiring, because yeah, if I came to New Zealand again and I wanted to get on my feet as quickly as possible and earn as much as possible as quickly as possible, then I would focus on electrical gremlin faults on vehicles. Don't need a lot of tools. It's all in your head. It's just skill and good money. You get paid really good money for that kind of stuff. And I did tell my students that was the area that if they feel confident enough to get into, that's the area of being a mechanic that they should do, because that's where the money is. Mike Adams, when it comes to a mechanic work, I wonder if old analog is really simpler than today's technology, or is it just that we're just more familiar with analog system? making it seem easier. Well, I must admit, since getting the scope, I do tend to lean on that an awful lot. I enjoy using it, and it's amazing the stuff that it captures that you don't normally see on an analog meter. But analog meters do have their place. But I can't think the last time I used one. I remember back in the UK, I used to have a little metal box that had a voltmeter in it. It's a shame I left it behind because it was really cool. I had a voltmeter in it and an ammeter in it, and I used that all the time for diagnostics. And I used to have a little clip-on. What I also found really helpful was a little clip-on. It was a Durite. I need to get another one actually. A little Durite inductive ammeter. So you could just clip it onto a wire, and it would tell you the current flow. You know, it wasn't 100% accurate, but it would tell you the current flow along that wire at that time. And that was super helpful for diagnostics. Jim K, what is that hand cleaner made of? I don't know. I think, Jim, it's probably got a secret formula. I don't think they're going to tell you the contents. Ingredients. God, it's like a cooking show, isn't it? Water. Oh, I'm just going to put it on the screen. For those that are interested, there you go, look. That's what it's made of. So you'll be able to pause the video when it goes up later on. Okay, right. Next box. Oh, okay, let's move the camera again. That should work, I think, about there. Right, what have we got in this one? This one is from ISL, from my friend Brandon at 10 Tools. So hopefully, and he did say, sorry, he sent me some shelving as well that you've already seen, I think, with the big boxes. There's 3 more on top of this trolley at the moment. Okay, what have we got? What have we got? We've got some more packing. Like that. Ooh, we've got some letter punches. Brilliant. Very useful. I'll come to explain why I've got those. We've got some new side cutters. I'll tell you why I've got those as well. And he sent me some new caps. Oh, it's a clothing day today. I've got some new caps because they do get filthy. So there we go. 2 new caps. Brilliant job. And what else have we got? We've got, I think we'll just take them out of the box and we'll do a close-up. Right. Oh, much better. Okay, right. Close-up stuff. Let's see what Brandon had to send me down. First of all, where's my knife? Oh, where's my knife gone? There he is. Okay, so we've got these made in Taiwan. Always cut towards myself. And there's 2 of these boxes. So I don't think they're probably broken. Oh, excellent. Been waiting for these for ages. Okay, so we've got some new swivelly casters. Now, the reason why I need these is the roll cabs as standard come with 2 fixed casters and 2 swivelies. And now that I'm putting the roll cabs underneath the racking, I want to be able to push them across the workshop sort of sideways rather than have to sort of wiggle them in underneath. The trolley, the 10 trolley that I have, that I do a lot of filming on, has got 4 of the swivel casters. And it is so much easier getting around the workshop and positioning it for the tripod. So thank you very much, Brandon. We'll keep those in the box. So we've got 2 boxes of those. And then, because you can never have enough, I recognise the box here. We've got some more clamps. Now, this time round, I went for the normal duty ones to see what the difference was. So I'll just go and grab one of my heavy duty ones and we'll have a look. They look identical to me. Oh, they are BC4s. Okay, exactly the same as what I got before. Look, I must have bought they must have given me the standard duties last time. Pretty cool though. So I use these an awful lot. Now that I'm doing more and more fabrication work, you can't have enough clamps. So we've got 2 of those. So we'll get that one out of the box as well. Get rid of the box. we go. So yeah, I mean, there's lots of G clamps around the world, lots of different brands, but I find these actually pretty damn good actually, and they're not like a woodworking G clamp. You know, they feel more like a metalworker's G clamp. So that's what I do. Right, where the hell are they going to go? Okay, right. Oh, geez, nearly dropped them. Letter punches. One of the problems that I experienced when I was doing this racking was that obviously because the steelwork, the frame that I've built goes onto the wooden wall of the garage, and the wooden wall is not uniform by any means. The angle iron that goes up and down, that clamps the timbers, they are all individually cut to fit, and the holes drilled as pairs. So when it came to painting, it's very difficult to try and keep everything in order and to know what's what. I ended up drilling a small hole through the left-hand side uprights to make sure that I got them, you know, I could reassemble it correctly. But using a set of punches, and I can mark all the components now, that's going to be really, really helpful for doing the other side, the second half of the racking, because that's going to, what I'm doing is going the full length of the workshop. So that's going to be a real help. And hang on, I've forgotten something. Hang on. So, I don't know if you're like me or not, but I tend to use some tools and abuse tools sometimes, which in a way that you really shouldn't do. And unfortunately, my little side cutters, I think you can see that or not, they've lost the tip. There, look. And it's really annoying because you can't actually get in to cut things like cable ties and stuff like that. So it was about time that I got a new pair for the toolbox. And I think these ones will be a perfect replacement. So there you go. Look, so we've got slightly larger on the jaws, but it should fit the toolbox okay. So good job. Very happy with those. And I went for a smaller set as well that I can put in my my field tool kit that I have. So we'll put those over there. Get rid of the packaging. Don't need that. Right. I think we've got. Oh, quick comments. I keep ignoring you guys, don't I? Thanks, you're right. An electrician will be the next mechanic, lol. Absolutely. It's the way things are going. Mechanical components are getting more and more reliable as time goes on. I say that loosely. Essentially, cars require less maintenance nowadays. The most common problems seem to be more electrical and electronic related. So if you can get your head around that, that's where the money is. Mike Adams, I was talking about analog points and condenser age vehicle technology. But, okay. Right. So yes, the points ignition system is very simple to understand and easy to maintain with only basic tools. Unfortunately, that's not the case with more modern electronic systems, ignition systems. But to be fair, they're a lot more reliable electronic ignition systems. They rarely go wrong, and they're maintenance free in the main. It's only when they do go wrong that you need specialist equipment to be able to work out what the problem is. So I understand what you're saying, and I like the old point stuff. I like the fact that, you know, you get that you get the misfires, you get the pops, the crackles, the quirkiness of the vehicle. It's not so clean and smooth and boring, to be honest. Mike Adams, which is truly simpler. It is a lot simpler, you're right, but there's a lot more items that can wear out and fail and that need regular maintenance. Bob Kinney, sometimes I miss points and condensers. Me too. I do miss that kind of stuff. Mike Adams, me too, Bob. Bob Kinney, but electric ignition is more accurate and much more efficient. It is, and that's one of the reasons why manufacturers had to go to it. Because it's more efficient and more accurate, it means that the engines are much more cleaner running. It helps on emissions from the vehicle. They're much more fuel efficient because of it. Luke455, morning Andy. Luke from Melbourne, Australia. Good morning, Luke. Hope you're all good over there. There's been some pretty bad times recently over in Australia, hasn't there? A lot of lockdown stuff going on. Mike Adams, most newest generation is lost when it comes to diagnostics, unless they can plug up a computer and to do it for them. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the current generation, I should do a little test actually when I go around the dealers and just take a set of points with me and just ask, just randomly pick a tech and say, do you know what these are? You know, and see what they say. Should be interesting. Jim K, do you have a tool roll with tools to take on the motorcycle? I don't, actually. I used to do. I don't know where it is now. I think it was in England. I did have a little tool roll, so you could put your most common tools in there, your spanners and screwdrivers and bits and pieces specific to the bike that you're on. Roll it up, chuck it in your rucksack, or put it in your pannier, and away you go. We definitely did have one, but I don't know where it is now. Maybe Ben's got it. Bob Kinney, lol. Right, next box. What have we got? Jeez. Okay, we'll do that one up there. Hang on. God, I'm making a terrible mess in this workshop. Okay, well, you might recognize the brand, and it's fragile. These have taken, if they are what I think they are, I've been waiting for these for about 6 weeks. Like I say, international freight is not the greatest at the moment, to New Zealand at least. Ooh. Luckily, I didn't throw this across the workshop. Okay, well, there's 4 of these. And the reason why I got these is I keep giving them away. Now, obviously, any that I give away, they can't enter the competition for December. But up until now, I've only actually managed to retain just the one for my own use. Bloody well packed. I'll give them that. Well done, Zazzle. So there you go. Little plug. We've got the official Andy Mechanic mug. Oh, did anybody go onto the Zazzle site and try and order one of the this design on this style mug? Or can you even still order this design of mug? Can you still see it on the Zazzle store? I can see it when I'm not logged in. It'd be interesting to find out if you can see it. It's only a few clicks. If you're watching this on a laptop, just drop onto Zazzle. There's a link in the description actually. You scroll down, click on the link, and it'll take you straight through, and then you can find out. But yeah, I do like these little mugs, but who knows? This might actually be a limited edition now. Zazzle might have stopped supplying them because they don't like the YouTube bit on the stuff. They get really upset, but I thought we got away with it. And I can still order them, but I mean, I am the designer, so I think it's different. If you design it yourself, you can have what you want. But if you sell it to somebody else, it's going to meet their requirements. Okay, we've got another box. Hang on. Oh, Jesus. Right, this came from... It came with the packaging from... Jesus, big bug. There's a bug. Go away, bug. There you go, look. Asmus. Get rid of that. So I was in the guy from Asmus sent these down. So that's Reese. And he said, hey, we've got a gift for you, Andy. We'll put it in the post with the other stuff. And they said, this is for the Tool Girls. Believe it or not. It's not for me. Wow. Okay. Hell is it? Right, okay. So they said, Andy, this is for the Tool Girls. It's for in the summertime. You can put nice cold drinks in there with some ice, and whenever they need a cold drink, they can get one from this. I thought that was really, really thoughtful of the guys at Asmus for the Tool Girls. Obviously, they're thinking about their health and safety and obviously body temperature, you know, when they're here in the workshop, because it gets really hot in here in the summertime. So thanks, guys. We'll find a home for that. Probably won't live in the workshop all the time. Might just fit in the Tool Girl cabinet. We'll have to wait and see what we can organise. Right, I think that's that's all the boxes to unbox. There is some, as you saw on the trolley just down there. Look, we've got some small stuff from Teng Tools, but this is just the shelving for the racking units. I had to buy some. I actually bought those. I had to buy some more shelves because of the way that I'm doing the workshop, just to maximize the use, because previously there was quite a lot of dead space. You know, the shelves were too high and you put stuff on them, but you know, it's just easier to have more shelves because then you can access things a lot easier and you don't have to take a lot of crap off to get down to the stuff down the bottom. It makes it easier. So there you go. Oh, Jim K, great stuff, Andy. Thanks, Jim. So has anybody gone onto the Zazzle store for me to see if you can order one of the standard mugs? I don't think I'm logged. No, I'm not signed in and I can see it, so I don't know what's going on there. Products, yeah, it's still showing at this end, Jim, so I don't know how you're going to get on with that. We'll have to wait and see. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Right. Okay, so what time are we on? I don't know. I have no idea even what time it is. We're an hour and 10 minutes in. I don't want to spend 2 hours doing a live stream again. Oh, we've got too many lights going on there, haven't we? That's better. Okay, so where are we at? More questions required. Bob, you did an awesome job with the shelves. I'm getting there, Bob. It's quite a big project. There's a lot to do, but we will get there. Like I say, I've got to finish by Wednesday night. So I've got today, being Sunday here in New Zealand. I've got the rest of today. And I've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but they're not full days. I've got my day job stuff to do because I'm working from home and I've got quite a lot of work to do. So I tend to get up really early in the morning, try and crank out all the emails and bits and pieces, get that sorted, and then have the afternoon in the workshop and try and work till about 7 or 8 o'clock at night. Obviously no videos. I wasn't going to film it because that would have slowed me way down. What have we got there? Nobby Noble, your mugs available there, Andy. Thank you very much. I did, and it's all good on Zazzle. Brilliant. Okay, Jim. Jim, just try again. I don't know what's going on, why you can't see it or not, but you know, we've been selling them up until recently, so if there is a problem, it's just happened. But it looks to me like, yeah, we're getting pretty good response that people can see those mugs and can buy them. So if you haven't got one yet, you can go on to Zazzle, order yourself some Andy Mechanic merch, and once it arrives, take a selfie and send it through on an email, please, to andymechanic@live.co.uk, and I'll post it on my Instagram account, and you'll go into the draw to win a load of Teng Tools, including a socket set and a few other bits and pieces. We've not decided exactly what's going to be in that kit yet. Some forge gear, and some more Andy Mechanic merch, including an official bespoke Andy Mechanic jacket, which I'm not wearing today. It's that black one that I normally wear when I'm out and about. So yeah, I won't order the jacket until I know who's won and get your size, so we can make sure it fits perfectly for you. Well, geez, I'm just waiting for my breakfast now, honestly. So many different Picos, Andy. There's lots of different Picos out there, but you want to be going for if you're in the automotive world, go for the automotive scope. And if you can afford it, go for the 4-channel. But a 2-channel is still pretty good, and it's considerably cheaper. I remember that my first scope was just the 2000 series. It wasn't even an automotive scope. It was just a very cheap Pico scope, one of the cheapest that they do. And that cost me about 240 New Zealand. But still really useful. And I used that particular scope on the vast majority of the diagnostics that I did on the MR2 videos. Really useful. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Off-road fan. I can order your standard mug as well as the thermo mug with the same design. Perfect. Thank you very much, off-road fan. You can do what I can do. I don't know why Jim's having so many problems, to be honest. Jim, you can always flick me an email later on if you want with some screenshots. Or if need be, if worst comes to worst, Jim, I'll order you one from this end and just post it out to you. How's that for service? It'll take quite a while to get to me and then get to you, but maybe I can get them to send it direct. I know, I'll work something out. Good stuff. Okay, crew. What else? I've sort of run out of things to talk about. I've done all the unboxing. I've had way too many cigarettes. Coffee is still warm. Little plug there for the thermal mug. Cheers, Holly. So what else have I been on with? I haven't. I've made a real mess of the workshop though. There's boxes and cardboard and packaging and stuff all over the place. There is. Yeah. So actually, hang on. So paint. Hang on. Almost. So obviously, doing all this steel work, I wanted to make sure it was all painted before it got fitted, because I'm a dab hand, as you can see with that big beam up there, for putting stuff up and not bothering to paint it. Or, you know, the plan is that's going to come down and get sprayed at some point. So I was exploring different kinds of paint, and in the end, I just went for some cheap and cheerful, because most of the steel work you won't be able to see once the racking's in place. The finish wasn't that important. Really, it was just cost and protection, really. So I actually went for some, I'll get you the can. Hang on, I'm jumping around now, but hang on, bear with me. Jeez. You're going to be watching more of a blank workshop and less of me today, I tell you. Okay, I'm back. So we went for, in the end, I was at Mitre 10, and they had a special offer on this paint, and it's hammerite. There you go, look. Hammerite, metal paint, and it's smooth black. And I thought, well, that'll do the trick. 33% free. I thought I was going to need 4 litres, so I just bought 3 cans, and that's near as damn it 4 litres, and that should do the trick. Each can was about $60 a can, so I have no idea what that relates to in the UK. Probably about £25, which seems quite expensive, to be honest. Paint over here is really expensive, and I thought, well, you know, I've used hammerite in the past back in the UK years ago for various jobs, and Mrs. Mechanic did all the painting. Now I'm not sure how well this is going to show up on camera, but maybe you can see the finish. Oh, sure, you can see the brush lines, and of course there's a few little drips. And she did apologise about that. But the finish is not great, to be honest. I mean, it's a reasonably thickness. This has been done with 2 coats of paint, and it will, you know, stop rusting, which is the reason for doing it, to be honest. But the quality of it's not very good. Now, so I don't think I'll be buying that hammerite again. I've given it another go. I don't think I'll buy it. It was pretty easy to paint, but what was a far better black paint was a black chassis paint that I got from Wire Out Paints, which we've done. I mean, you can see up there, but you can see going that way, look, you can see these steel bits up here. That's all painted with the black chassis paint that I got from Wire Out Paints. Really, really good, and probably a little bit cheaper, but they're in Auckland, and I couldn't get any. Other good paint, and little plug for Jared here, and I must admit the brackets, I actually sprayed them with this. I didn't want to, because they're the bits that you do see. I thought I'll use what I know is going to come out really, really well, is the Forge matte black, and it did. It came out perfectly. It's super fast drying, about 5 minutes, and it's touch dry, and you can flick it over and spray the next coat. So worked really, really well. So thank you again, Jared, for sending me down a few of these cans of paint. He sent these down, I think, during the last lockdown. You saw a huge supply turn up. I've still got a few cans left. And again, I went for the matte black, so it matched the shelving that I did above. There you go, look. Above the lathe. Can you see the lathe in there? You can't see the lathe, can you? Geez, there, look. So those brackets up there, look, are sprayed with the same stuff, and they came out incredibly well. Very happy with those. So there you go. I'm not going to buy any more hammerite. Sorry, hammerite, but I don't think your product is all that good, to be honest. The finish isn't good at all. And Mrs. Mechanic's pretty damn good at painting as well, and it just didn't come out very well. Even on the long bits of angline, it works, but it's not great, and it took a long time to dry as well. Jim K, I'm thinking about the 2000 Pico might be the way I will go. The auto one is very expensive. It is really expensive, Jim. You're right there. I do have my 2000 scope that I never use. So maybe we can discuss something on email, and maybe I can do you a deal on that. Yeah, I just don't use it anymore. And I'd rather it went to somebody that's going to make use of it. So flick me an email through, Jim, and we'll go from there. Roger Heaps, years ago, I put a 20 volt 4 AG, a 20 valve. I was on electrics for a second. A 20 valve 4 AGE into a AW11 MR2 using a 20 valve ECU. Pico would have been very handy. It would. I really enjoyed doing that diagnostics on the MR2. It ended up, I mean, you've got to watch the series. I'm not going to give a spoiler alert if you've not seen it, but it ended up being an issue which I really, really did not expect. But some of the forums did mention it. Now, once I got into the research side of it. MG, is food still expensive in New Zealand? Food is very expensive in New Zealand. I mean, I went, before the lockdown started, I was in Taupo, and I called in just to get some supplies. I came out with 2 small paper bags, just normal size brown paper bag full of shopping. And I spent nearly $200 just on those 2 bags of shopping. I mean, fair enough, there was a few bits and pieces, man grooming stuff and things. Not that I use it very often, but anyway, you know what I mean. But yeah, it was crazy expensive, really, is shopping. And it seems to have only got more expensive during this COVID period. De Papier Flinigar, probably missed everything again, right? Almost. I'm going to be signing off very soon. Believe me, I've got jobs to do. Mike Adams, when can I get away with it on a metal project? Oh, sorry, when I can get away with it on a metal project like you, I just used rattle can chassis paint. It looks pretty good and it's quite durable. I agree. Unfortunately, there was just way too much steel work to be using aerosol cans on. It would have got really expensive, and I can't expect, Jared to send me down, 30 cans of this. It's costing him at the end of the day, and it's not fair to ask for it. So with it being out of sight, it's against the wall, it's going to be covered in the racking. I was prepared to take a bit of a hit and go for the Hammerite, but I was just a little bit shocked as to how poor the quality is. Or the finish, should I say. I mean, I'm sure it's quite durable, but the finish isn't great. I've never really had, I mean, I remember back in the UK, the finish was never great on the Hammerite I used over there. So maybe it's more about durability and cost than it is finish. I don't know. But it's done the job. It's black and it's not going to rust. And at least I didn't put it up as bare steel. At least it did get painted. Now then, somebody else, I did read one somewhere. Jim K, how did you apply the paint? Well, the paint was brush painted. It's just a brush paint application. I didn't want to get into the rigmaroles of trying to spray, because then you've got all the, basically, I was busy grinding and cutting stuff at one end of the workshop, Mrs. Mechanics down the other end, trying to get everything painted up. Once we've got the carport finished, God's sake, another job. It just needs a roof putting on. Once that's finished, she would then be painting stuff outside under the carport, which will make life a lot easier, prevent any kind of contamination of the paint and stuff. Right, De Papier, well, I just got off work. Well, good man. I've got to start work again tomorrow. The paint just didn't flow out. It didn't. Maybe it was too cold. I don't know what the reason was. It's done okay. It's not perfect. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, as you can see, with the steel work and stuff, but hey, it's all good. Now then, crew, I'll give you another 6 minutes and then I'm going to sign off, I think. Now then, how many have we got? 36 people and 30 likes. So I need 6 more likes. So let's balance it out, chaps. Let's have another 6. If you haven't liked yet, let's do another 6 likes. So, any more questions? Mike Adams, I used to fill a shopping cart with $100. Now I can carry it out in 2 hands. I know, it's madness. And unfortunately, salaries and wages aren't going up at the same rate. We're showing our age. Yeah, we are. We are, Bob. I'm feeling it. God, honestly, I really need to have a bit of a groom. I look pretty wild on there, don't I? Bugger. Oh well. So next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, working from home. Now the government is going to decide about the restrictions on Monday. It may continue if the numbers of new infections continue. I have also applied for an exemption to allow me into Auckland. I've still got an ROV on the trailer that I repaired a few weeks ago that I haven't been able to deliver. So that will facilitate that. I've got another one to pick up from Red Beach up near Arewa, which has got a fault that needs to be fixed as soon as possible. They're getting a bit upset now that I haven't been there, but I can't get into Auckland. And I've got 2 more units to bring down from head office to Underseal. So there's a lot to do, and I can't get 3 on the trailer. So I don't know how I'm going to do that yet. I might have to collect it from Red Beach, do the diagnostic, and then leave it at head office while I wait for the parts. That would work. De Papier, does anyone have any advice on diesel diagnostics? I have an Opel Vauxhall Astra. What a machine with a 1.7 diesel. Had a blown turbocharger swapped, and now it misfires like crazy. Well, if it's misfiring, the only thing that can cause a misfire on a diesel is obviously compression ignition. I will be doing a compression check. First stop, do a compression check. See if for any reason all that oil entering the cylinder has bent one of the conrods. Maybe. John Dyer, I turned 60 on Monday, lol. 60? Man, that seems so far away. I'm 47 at the moment. VR6 Caddy. Hey, Andy, greetings from Cheshire. First time watching live, confused me with your English accent and saying good morning. Well, I am Yorkshire. That's where I'm from, and I've got where's the badge? Yeah, look. Got the badge on the shirt. English through and through. Compression and glow plugs. There you go. Well, glow plugs, yes, but if it's misfiring even when it's hot, then I think you've got a compression issue. VR6 Caddy, anything delights you miss from UK? Yes, I miss very much Thomas the Baker's sausage rolls and flapjack. I miss those. I was talking about to Mrs. Mechanic only yesterday, how much I miss that. And we can't get similar kind of sausage rolls here in New Zealand. They just don't make them over here like that. De Papier, unfortunately, I have no idea how to do a compression test on a diesel. They don't have spark plugs, but definitely a good way. I think you can go in through the glow plugs. In fact, I can't find it now, but I have got a 10 Tools glow plug adapter kit for a compression tester. Unfortunately, the adapters don't fit my compression tester, but I've got the kit, so I just need to buy the 10 Tools compression tester. But yes, glow plug out, compression gauge in. Mike Adams, yeah, I've got to get off here too. Yards are mowed. Oh, good man. And now time to see many more chores on my list I can complete. Oh, how many more chores on the list I can complete? Have a good one, everybody. Cheers, Mike. Thank you very much for joining us again this morning. Really do appreciate you being on board. A regular viewer. Thank you very much. VR6 Caddy, lol. De Papier, it won't run for long enough to get warm. Wow. So it's not a misfire on one cylinder, it's a misfire on all cylinders. Doesn't sound good to me, does that, to be honest? Maybe just check your I mean, it may be unrelated, the fault. Check your fuel supply, your fuel filter, fuel lines, that kind of stuff. Make sure your lift pump's working correctly. John Dyer, when's your birthday, Andy? 3rd of April, every year. 3rd of April is my birthday. MG, didn't you turn 48? I did. I'm 48. I'm not 40. Oh, man. Honestly, thanks. Appreciate that. Coach Matt, there's no secrets on YouTube, is there? Hey, Andy, do you have tips on how I can remove the left subjoint assembly from a T31 Nissan X-Trail CVT 2009? I don't, to be honest. Sorry. I don't. I can't help you there. I've never worked on one. I've broken one, but I've never actually worked on one. Bob Kinney, later Mike. DePapier, it sounds like it runs on 1 out of 4 cylinders. Well, that's even worse, isn't it? I would definitely check your fuel first before you go any further. But do your compression test if you've got the kit to do it. VR6 Caddy, is there any English car you wish you could get hold of to restore? English car? Well, I would love a Ford Escort. But I suppose, would you call that an English car, really? Yeah, it was built in England. English car. The English version of the Ford Escort, obviously a Mexico would have been fantastic. A Mark 1, but crazy expensive these days. Or a Mini Cooper. A Mini would be good fun. Mrs. Mechanic's always wanted a Mini. And there are plenty of Minis here in New Zealand, but most of them are pretty rusty by now. And I did drive a Mini around New Zealand the first time I came here. Yes, one of Emma's auntie, Mrs. Mechanic. Oh, Emma, you see, Mrs. Mechanic's auntie had a little green Mini, and yeah, we took it on a rally stage, a rally stage up north. So we did all the gravel roads right up to Kaitaia. We didn't quite make it all the way because we lost brakes and it dropped down to 3 cylinders and a few other bits and pieces. We made it back home, but it was in a pretty bad shape. It didn't like the gravel roads and all the handbrake turns and stuff. But back then I was a bit ruthless with vehicles, so it was entirely my fault. It operated flawlessly for years till I got my hands on it for 2 weeks. Yes, wasn't good. DePapier, will do. Thanks for the great advice. That's why I love this channel. It's not just me, DePapier. It's all the viewers. You know, you're getting assistance, collaboration from other viewers as well. But I would definitely go after you. Just check your fuel supply. That's easy, and do a compression test and see what's going on. VR6 Caddy, Mark 1, yes. What's the story on how you moved to New Zealand? Oh man, I could sit here for an hour and tell you about that. Basically, at the end of 2008, I decided that the business that I was running in the UK was not going to survive the global financial crisis. Things were collapsing around me. And although the business was still viable at that point, I made a decision to get out. And get out I did very quickly. And it involved a 6,000 kilometer drive through Europe. And then we flew out of Athens. And we shipped the Nissan Patrol that I have, the long wheelbase, high roof, 10-seater, 4.2 diesel with a manual gearbox. We shipped that in a container together with a trailer that I had on the back, full of all my tools and a couple of quad bikes and other bits and pieces. We filled the container to the gunnels and then got here to New Zealand. I'd already sent another container direct from the UK with some more tools and furniture and bits and pieces in it. And we started our life here in New Zealand on the 20th of January 2009, and never looked back, to be honest. Made a very different kind of life for myself over here. The UK, I ran an off-road driving centre for 13, 14 years. Thoroughly enjoyed doing it, but it just clearly, with people not spending money on hobbies and things that they didn't need to spend money on, it wasn't going to survive. Our overheads, the business had grown huge. Our overheads were massive. And the income plummeted tremendously. So I had to make a very difficult decision and try and preserve some kind of wealth and retain some kind of money out of the business before I left. I didn't sell the business. We just closed it down and sold all the assets. And that gave me just enough to get going over in this country. I had already bought a house in New Zealand prior to that. So that was my saving grace. And that's where I am now. So a very quick overview. There's a lot more to the story than that, but and one day I might make a video on it. But at the moment, I just don't feel comfortable about putting that kind of information out, on the net. De Papier, I know last time I got advice on where to get information on my 85 Chevy. Thank you, De Papier. MG, see you next week, Andy. You will, most definitely. Now, I have to warn you people, there may well be the odd Sunday that I aren't able to do a live stream because of all this this work on the ROVs, the undersealing and stuff. It does burn up part of my Sunday, unfortunately, and makes for much longer days. But I will do my very best to continue with this because I actually find it quite nice. I enjoy spending time talking to you guys, and I do value my Sunday mornings in front of the camera. And on that note, what have we got? We've got one more. De Papier, hang on. John Dyer, update on the hair. Is John sacked? What do you think? It's getting longer, isn't it? Did you see that? I don't know. Can you see it or not? Yes. Barber John owes me at least a pint, if not two, for the stress and trauma that he's caused me having to go out and about with hair that's ridiculously long now. But he might even watch this live stream and send me a message later on. Who knows? De Papier, see you next time. You will. Cheers, De Papier. Cheers, John. And thank you to everybody for joining me this morning. Really appreciate it. We've got 40 people on board and 41 likes. That's the kind of balance that I like. Really appreciate you being here. And don't forget, if you haven't yet, go on to the Zazzle store while you still can, by the sounds of it, and get yourself some kind of Andy Mechanic merch. Send me through an email with a selfie and I'll put you in the draw to win some Tang tools, some Forge gear and some Andy Mechanic merch as well. That draw is going to be held in December 2020 and it'll include a bespoke Andy Mechanic jacket as well. All right, crew, it's time for me to get some more work done. I will see you next Sunday, same time. Thanks for joining. Cheers. Over and out.